Hey everyone, I'm Ed here with Down to Trade. I've been thinking about making this video for quite a while now, and by chance we just happened to dive deep into the subject yesterday in the trade room, and it reminded me to make this video about this very important topic. So this topic is so important that I actually cover it with every student that I coach. But before we get into the discussion today, I wanted to talk about today's trades. And as you all know, I like to talk about my losers more than I like to talk about my winners, because I think we usually have more to learn from our losers than our winners. That said, even though we ended today with nice profits, there are some great lessons to pull from. Now, as you can see from today's charts, I had not one, not two, but three horrible entries. This was an absolute embarrassing day of taking positions for me. But we were able to take advantage of nice implied volatility, and we managed the positions very well. I'll admit, at about noon, I figured I'd be lucky to break even for the day. I never would have guessed we would actually pull a nice win out of it. But it's like we always talk about it down to trade. Trade management is really what sets you apart as a trader. Staying patient, not allowing yourself to get scared out of a position, and following your rules are at the foundation of every successful trader. And today is a perfect example of just that. Now, obviously, we're already looking good for July with our actual return around 2.6%. So let's keep that momentum going. For those of you who have been trading with us for a while, you've noticed that we've been on a bit of a win streak since mid-June. But taking a look at our wins shows us that our daily returns have been relatively small, and that is by design. I'm certain that I'm not the only one to notice that the market has been choppy and sporadic lately, so I have shifted our strategy toward getting more base hits rather than home runs, and it seems to be working. Okay, enough about the room. Let's get down to trading. I wanted to discuss something that I have noticed while coaching traders over the years. I have had the pleasure of coaching many traders with various backgrounds. Some who have had decades of trading experience, and others who have never taken a single trade in their life. Some with very small accounts and others with seven-figure accounts. Some who have extensive risk management skills and others who have, none. But I've noticed some patterns across almost all of them. They all seem to have the same set of struggles with trading. Very rarely do I hear a trader tell me a struggle that is new. It's amazing. Granted, I do have a little bit of fun with it during the session, as I'll often make guesses about how their struggle might impact their trading, and they will always be amazed saying, "How did you know that?" That is exactly what happens. And I explain to them that I know that because many traders struggle with the exact same thing. Luckily, here at Down to Trade, we have developed a series of programs utilizing methods of behavioral psychology specifically designed to decrease those behaviors over time and increase your overall chance of success. For instance, as we discussed in the trade room, many traders will tell me they struggle with patiently waiting for their signal. They might say they rush into a position before they should, or they tell me they often feel awkward when they're not in a position. To begin, we might look at their trade history to obtain a baseline. Then we'll discuss their goals for this particular issue. For example, we might find that on average they enter 10 trades a day, but are typically only profitable on 3 of them. I might then suggest a structured program consisting of desensitization therapy to decrease the average number of trades down to, let's say, 3 trades per day. It might look something like this. On week 1, I'll have them choose one day that they don't get to take any trades. Now, that doesn't mean they get to go escape the trigger and spend the day at the beach. The point really is to, over time, make the trader more and more comfortable with the idea of sitting in front of their computer without taking any positions. So on that day, the trader must watch their charts for a minimum of, let's say, 2 hours. On week 2, we might increase it to 4 hours. Plus, I'll ask them to analyze their charts and find me a trade that they would like to get into and text it to me. And then once they want to get out of that trade, they again text me. Keep in mind, they don't actually get to take the trade. I just want them to get used to analyzing positions without actually jumping into the trade. The program would continue like this, slowly desensitizing the trader to their addictive habit. Now, we tailor the program to the trader based on the severity of their struggle, and the results are fantastic. Traders have absolutely turned their trading around 180 degrees based on this program alone, not to mention the various other programs we might enlist for that same trader. or another popular struggle is allowing fear to control your entries and your exits. The trader might say they struggle with getting suckered into a position due to FOMO, or worse, they mismanage position due to fear of loss. Now, once again, we'll approach each student with a tailored program to help address their specific struggle. For instance, I might suggest a program that involves majorly decreasing the trader's position size so that fear can't push them into or out of a trade. This will allow the trader to gain confidence in their strategy without losing money in the meantime. I might also write a program to help the trader gain some experience with managing their trade. Remember, at Down to Trade, we teach that trade management is really the most important aspect of the trade. So I might have them open their paper trade account, and at the top and bottom of every hour, let's say, if they're not already in a trade, they'll have to flip a coin. And if it lands on heads, they take a bullish position. If it lands on tails, they take a bearish position. The point of the exercise has nothing to do with direction. Rather, it is to get as much experience managing positions as possible without having to wait for a signal, which might take all day. And having the entry based on sheer chance provides ample opportunity to manage horrible positions, just like I had to today in the live trade room. Now, these are just a few examples of the programs we use to help students turn their trading around. By the time they are done with their structured programs, they are completely different traders in every way. The model from which I actually developed these programs is actually based on a tiered structure that I call the success ladder. Now, the idea behind the success ladder is simple. In order to be successful, you have to take calculated risks. In order to take those risks comfortably, you have to be confident in your trading skills. And in order to have confidence, you have to have a good amount of experience. And finally, you can only have experience through a whole lot of failure. Now, unfortunately, too many trading gurus out there just want to skip some of these steps, and unfortunately, many traders learn those mistakes. I often use this analog to discuss why that's a mistake. I've talked a couple times about how teaching people to shoot pistols or rifles in previous videos, and I talk about how they'll ask about aiming when we're trying to work on something as important as proper grip or trigger control, and I'll tell them not to worry about aiming just yet. I'll certainly teach them about proper sight alignment later, but for now, I want them to focus all of their brain power on squeezing the trigger without moving the muzzle. Then, later, we'll focus on doing it faster. And this is essential, but by the time they actually get to the range, they've developed a muscle memory to effectively squeeze the trigger without moving this muzzle. Because really, what is the point of aiming at a target if you move the muzzle every time you squeeze the trigger? Well, the same thing can be said about a lot of aspects in life, including trading. I can't tell you how many students ask me to teach them a strategy, even though they just told me all of the ways they struggle with managing a trade or managing their emotions in the trade. What is the point of having a strategy if you get FOMO'd in and out of your positions? If you want someone to just sell you a strategy, I promise you, you can find hundreds of trading gurus out there that only want to sell you their strategy. They don't care if you succeed. In fact, they kind of prefer if you don't succeed so that you go back to the website and purchase their advanced program. This is why I developed this ladder. It's structured in a way that is systematic in order to maximize your results. We start down here at failure by discussing your trading struggles and mapping out a plan of attack. Then we begin to get you some experience with managing your trades. This step between experience and confidence is often where some traders do give up. They simply do not want to paper trade or trade with tiny positions. And most admit it's because they feel like they'll miss out on some profits, which I understand. However, it is simply impossible to work on trade management and emotional management at the same time. So we take out the emotions by paper trading, which allows you to learn to manage positions without having fear of losing. Over time, you will become more and more confident in your management skills, and then we can introduce calculated risks with larger position size, which eventually leads to consistent profits. That's it. Obviously, we've only really scratched the surface of these programs here in this short video, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how our one-on-one coaching can work to benefit your trading. It's a rather simple formula that we use, but we have seen it we've seen unbelievable success over and over with our students. In the end, I wanted to make this video to stress the importance of taking a systematic approach to your trading, not just your strategy. I cannot stress enough how little the strategy you trade actually impacts your performance. That said, if you're one of the many traders who struggles to make consistent gains every month, then I urge you to visit us at downtotrade.com. I'll leave a link in the description below. I'll also provide a link where you can actually schedule a free phone call to speak with me directly so we can figure out if Down to Trade is right for you. I will add that without proper coaching, implementing some of these programs can feel a little bit overwhelming. But seriously, don't wait. Schedule your free phone call right now. It'll cost you nothing, and the results can be absolutely life-changing. So that's going to be it for me. As always, don't forget to learn it, trade it, and profit. Take care, everybody. Happy trading.